Welcome to the lecture Update Account Details. In this video, we will code a function that lets a user update his own details. For example, when I click my full name at the top right corner here, the account detail page appears showing all my details, email, first name, last name, assigned rows, and photos. And on this page, I can change my first name, my last name, password, and photos. And note that I cannot change email and assigned rows. Click the update button, we save the details into the database, and click cancel, we return to the home page. And a successful message appears like this: the account details have been updated. And then the application will update the full name at the top right corner to reflect the changes. And to implement the update account details functionality, we need to create a new separate controller class, account controller, that handles the request to view details and update details, and also create the account form HTML page here to display the user details. And in the user service class, we need to implement a new method that updates the account details here. Alright, come back to the project, and firstly we need to update the user form page to use template fragments, similarly in the user listing page here. Replace the header here, and we pass the value of the page title onto this page title, because in the user controller we send the mono attribute page title to this user form, and also the fragment for the menu, navigation menu here. Okay, and the fragment for the footer, here. Okay, save the change and test the user form again. I'm already logged in here. I have to log in again. Okay, and see the user listing and click create new user. Okay, the form appears normally. Okay, perfect. Then update the hyperlink in the user's full name in the navigation menu here. Here, the link that shows the user full name here. We specify the URL thsref equal. The URL is /account. Okay. Refresh and click the full name here. You see the link doesn't work. It only shows the submenu item logout here. So to make the parent hyperlink of a drop-down menu working, we need to write some JavaScript code to update the drop-down menu. Okay, open the common.js file under the static.js directory here. And here we write a new method, new function, customize drop-down menu. And we call this function on the document ready function above here. And here we use the query to select the class drop down and the a tag in the drop down, and override the click function here. Click event function, and here we just set the location sref attribute of the browser to the sref attribute of the hyperlink itself. Okay, that's it. And refresh and click the full name here, and now you can see the hyperlink is clickable, and we got the URL /account here, but we have not created the handler method yet, so we got the white label error page. Okay, come back to the project and we will create a new controller class. You can see there are several classes under the com.shopme.admin.user package here. It's time to do some code refactoring. So I create a new subpackage for the export classes. So the subpackage is export finished, and I move the classes related to export functionality. User CSV exporter, user Excel exporter, user PDF exporter. Okay, move to this new subpackage. Okay, and you see, and create a new controller class here. New class account controller, and annotate this class using the controller annotation. And in this controller class, we need to have a reference to the user service class, private user service, and we auto-write this field, auto-write, and the first handler method for the URL /account here, /account, that shows the account details page, public string view details. And in this handler method, we need to get a user object that represents the currently logged in user. So with Spring Security, we can use this annotation, authentication principle, and then followed by the type of the class that implements the user details. Here in the project, we have the ShopMe user details class here. In the authentication process, Spring Security we return a new instance of ShopMe user details object here. So here we can declare the type ShopMe user details here, and the object name is logged user here. And from this logged user object, we can get email logged user, get username. The method get username returns the email of the user here. Get email here. Email, and then we can retrieve the details of the currently logged in user from the database to ensure that the latest information of the user is retrieved from the database. So here we can call service. In the service class, we need to have a method that returns user object based on email. Okay, so we code that method here. Public user get by email. Parameter is email, and we simply return the user repo get user by email here. Okay, and then here we can call service get by email, passing email, and it returns user object user here. And then we set this user object onto the model object of Spring MVC. So we need to have a reference to the Spring MVC model object here. Model add attribute, name is user, and object is user. And then we return the logical view name, which is account underscore form. That's it, and save the changes. Then we create this view-based account form HTML. The code is similar to the user form, so we can copy paste and modify the user form here. Copy paste here. The file name is account underscore form dot HTML. Here we modify the code a little bit. The heading of the page is draw account details. here, your account details, and the page title in the page head section is your account details. Okay, and we modify the code in the form here. The action of the form is slash account slash update, and we don't need to check email unique because the email cannot be changed. Okay, the name of the user object is the same as the name of the variable we set onto the model in the controller here, user here. Okay, and we delete the unrelated code, the JavaScript code that check the email unique here and show the model dialog here. Okay, we keep the code that handles the click event of the cancel button and the file image thumbnail here. Okay, and the email field should be read only, so here we modify delete the required attribute min length, max length, and specify the attribute read only. And also the aside rows of the user must be read only. So we change the text here, the label here, to aside rows here, and delete the code that shows the checkboxes for multiple rows here. We just print the rows of this user. So here we use the span here in bold here, print the value of the user rows here. Okay, now we can test. Refresh. I need to log in again. Now I can check the remember me option here, so next time I won't have to enter email and password login. Okay, and you can see the account details page appears here with the details including email, first name, last name, aside rows, enable status. We don't need to set enable status, photos, so we delete the enable status row here, and we center the heading the account details just above the form here. So we move the heading inside the form here. Okay, and refresh, and now you see the account details here, and user class text center. Okay, and now you see we have only email, first name, last name, password, aside rows, photos. Okay, perfect. Now let me log out and log in as another user. You see we can't see the logout link anymore after we write the JavaScript code to update the link, the parent link of the drop-down menu here. You see. So we need to write some more JavaScript in the customized drop-down menu here to fix the animation, the drop-down list sliding. Okay, so here we use selector, select the navbar and select the drop-down class. Okay, and override the hover event of the drop-down link here, and we execute this function. This function is for slide down. And the second function is for the slide up when the mouse is move away from the drop-down link. And this function is slide down when the mouse is over the drop-down link. So this file dot drop down dash menu, the first element, then we call stop to and then set the delay 250 milliseconds and slide down. Okay, and when the mouse is moved away from the drop link, we slide up to close the drop down menu, and the delay time is 100 milliseconds. Okay, and refresh and view the developer tools to make sure that we don't have any JavaScript error. Okay, perfect. And now I can see the drop-down menu appears here, and I can click a logout link here, see my details first, and log out. Okay, perfect. And I will log in as another user, Dev Kumar. Okay, I have logged in successfully as the user Dev Kumar, and you can see the full name Dev Kumar here, and I click the full name, and I can see the details of the user Dev Kumar here: first name, last name, assigned roles, editor, shipper, assistant, and the photos thumbnail here. Perfect. And next, we need to update the account details form, showing another few confirm password here. In this page, the user can leave the password field blank if he doesn't want to change the password. So the placeholder text for the password field is leave blank if you don't want to change password. And if the user enter a new password here and confirm password matches the password here, then the application we update the user's password. Okay, so we set the placeholder text for the password field account form here, and the password field here. Here we don't need to use this anymore, and we create a new input type equal password, and map this to the field password of the user password. Okay, and set the placeholder text. Placeholder is leave blank if you don't want to change password. Leave blank if you don't want to change password. And then we have the next row is a confirm password field. So if the user wants to change password, he must enter the new password twice. So this label is confirm password, and we give an ID to this confirm password. And the class is form dash control. Okay, let's see the code in the user form, the password field here, to see if we are missing something. Password here, min length and max length. Okay, min length and max length. Min length and max length for the password field. Okay, save the changes and refresh the account details page. Dev Kumar. You can see the password field leave blank if you don't want to change password, and confirm password here. Okay, so I enter the first password and the second one, confirm password, that doesn't match the first one, and click save, and it should show a validation error message. So we need to code a new JavaScript function here to validate the two password fields. Function check password match with the parameter is the value of the confirm password field. Confirm password, and here we check if the value of the confirm password not value is not equal to the value of the password field here, and then we show the validation error message. Confirm password says custom validity. The error message is passwords do not match, else meaning that the confirm password is SMS the password. So we set the confirm password custom validity to empty string here, and then we need to call this method in the on input event of the password field. The confirm password field here. On input, call check password and passing the field itself. Okay, and also in the password field here, on input, call check password match and passing the value of the confirm password field here. So here we call on document get element by ID, and then the ID of the confirm password field. Okay, that's it, the confirm password field. Okay, save the changes. Okay, and refresh Dev Kumar. I have to log in again. Dev Kumar. Dev. Check this option to remember login. Okay, and I try to click save, and we got the white label error page because the URL /account/update has not been handled by any handler method. Okay, let me test the password field here. Press F12 to make sure that we don't have any JavaScript error in the console view. Okay, and now I enter new password, and the confirm password does not match the password field. So this time the browser will show a validation error message. Oh, we got the validation error message for the length of the password. Okay, and click save. And when see the message password do not match, perfect. Now I enter two passwords that match, and click the save button, and it should submit the form. Okay, perfect. That means the code for the password match checking here is working perfectly, which is a very simple function. Next, we need to implement a new method, update account in the user service class for updating the details of the currently logged in user. Is because we just update the first name, last name, password if new password is specified, and photos if new photo is uploaded, and we don't update the email and assign roles. That's why we need to implement a separate method, update account in the service class. Okay, come back to the project and open the user service class. We already have the save method that persists the details of a user for creating new user, updating an existing user in the user management module here. But we need to have a new method for updating the details of the currently logged in user. So we write a new method here, public user update account with the parameter is the user object. We name it as user in form. To differentiate this user object in the form account form with the user object retrieved from the database, so we call repo file, user repo file by ID, and we pass the ID of the user in form, get ID here, and this we return user object from the database. So we name it as user in DB. Get here. Okay. And we update only the fields on the form here, the first name, last name, password if changed, and photos if changed. Okay, so here we check if the password of the user in form, get password is not empty. Then we update the password of the user in the database here, user in DB, set password, which is the password of the user in form, get password, and then we call the method encode password for the user in DB object. Okay, and then we also check the value of the photos field. If user in form get photos is not no, then we update the photos file name of the user in the DB, user in DB, set photos, which is the user in form. You get photos here, and then we also need to update the first name and last name. User in DB, set first name equal to the value of the first name of the user in form. Get first name, and similarly for the last name, user in DB, set last name, user in form, get last name, and then we return the call user repo, save the user in DB object, user in DB. That's it for the update account method. We update only the password, photos, first name and last name. We do not update the email and assign rows. And then we need to code the update details handler method in the account controller class to persist the details of the currently logged in user into the database. Okay, so open the account controller class here, and we code a new handler method. The code will be similar to the handler method in the user controller, so we can copy, paste, and modify from the user controller class here, the save method here. Paste here and modify. The method name is save details, and the URL is account / update. And in the method, we need to have a user object that maps to the form fields in the account form, and direct attributes and multiple files, because in the account form, the user is able to upload photos as well. And in this method, the return statement will return the view name itself, which is the account form here. Okay, and we just replace the call to service.save user by the method update account here, user here, and here call service update account user. Okay, and the successful message is your account details have been updated. That's it. And finally, we need to show the successful message on the account form here, just above the form here. So we can copy and paste the code in the user listing page, in the section that shows the message here. Okay, done. Sorry, in the controller class here we I need to return a direct to the account, the direct slash account to show the user account detail page instead of returning the view name. Okay, save the changes, and we are ready to test the update user details functionality. Okay, here we go, Dev Kumar, and now I want to just change the last name. Firstly, let me look at this user information in the database. The user with the email Dev Kumar here, where email equal Dev Kumar. Okay, now you note the password here. Okay, to make sure that password we remain unchanged, we just change the last name of the user. Okay, so last name is Dev Kumar Krishna, for example, and click save. Okay, and we got the successful message. The account details have been updated, and you can see the last name updated to Kumar Krishna. Photos remains unchanged, rows remains unchanged, and now let's select again in the database here, and you see the password unchanged, photo unchanged, just the last name got changed. So far so good. And after the user details have been updated, the application should update the user's full name at the top right corner here to reflect the changes in first name and last name. So we need to update the handler method a little bit. Here we need to have reference to authentication principle that represents the currently login user. So we use it as an authentication principle. Show me user details. Logged user here. And then after updating the user details, we update the first name and last name for the logged user object here. So in the Shopee user details class here, we need to write to set a method for the first name and last name of the user object here. Okay. So the first method is set first name string first name, and then we set the first name of the user object, set first name, and do similar for the last name here. Set last name, and last name here. Okay, and then in the controller we call logged user, set first name. The value is from user object user get first name, and logged user, set last name user get last name. Okay, that's it, and save all the changes. And now let's test update the first name and last name of the user Dev Kumar here, and we expect that the application will update the full name at the top right corner here. Now click on the full name to see the account details. Okay, and I update the first name is to David Habs, for example, and click save. Okay, you see the account details have been updated, and you can see at the top right corner we have the user's full name got updated to David Habs here. Perfect. And in the database we also see first name and last name got updated as well, David Habs here. Perfect. Now log out and test update password of another user. Log out here and I log in as Nam. Okay, and click full name to see my details, and now I want to update my password. Let me check in the database first. Codejava.net. Okay, you see the password encoded in the database here, ending in EU here. Now I change the password. Now I enter two passwords that do not match, and it should display a warning message: password do not match. Okay, and then I enter the two password match. Okay. Okay, and click save. Okay, one more character. Save. Okay, the account details have been updated. Okay, let me see in the database. Now, look at the value of the password column here. Now I click select again. And you can see the password actually got updated. Perfect. And finally, let's test update user photos. So I log out and log in as another user. This time I log in as the user Mike Gates here. Sorry. Gmail.com. Okay, I have logged in successfully as the user Mike Gates, and I see my details here, Mike Gates. And now I want to change the photos here. Choose file and choose another photos here. Okay, and click save. And you see the account details they have been updated, and the photos got updated as well. Let's see in the database for the user Mike Gates. Okay, the user Mike Gates here, and you see the photo name is Bill Fanny here. Okay, that means the user photos upload is also working perfectly with the account details functionality here.